What's going on, everybody? Brett here, and we're back playing some more Surviving Mars on the Green Planet DLC. My YouTube channel is, of course, Good Talk Gaming. Did I say that already? I don't know. Losing my mind a little bit making all these videos, but I'm having fun. So, what we've got going on today. So, after I finished recording yesterday, I took a second to kind of go through my dome and make sure I wasn't forgetting anything, and I realized I definitely was. So I didn't like where my grocer was placed. I felt like it was taking up a full tile that we could potentially use for something else. So I'm just going to move it over here. That's a relatively cheap thing to do. It just costs concrete at the end of the day. And the building that I realized I had forgotten, and because it's not with any of the dome type building menus, it's over here in life support. And it's the hydroponic farm. So you need metal and polymers, and this is what's going to make food inside the dome for the colonists. So if we place it like this, we can leave a nice little space in the middle. And what you can do with those spaces in the middle, because they're quite small, is you can go to, is it decorations? And decorations, there's all different types, but you can give stats like relaxation, exercise, playing. It looks like they pretty much all give that. But they're of varying sizes. And we can go ahead and put a statue down right in the middle for our first ever dome. And I like that a lot. We also, I think, have some room back here, perhaps, do we? No, we don't. This is actually taking up an entire tile, and I was thinking we could probably use, this only has room for 14 people in this living complex. Let's also make sure we turn this off now that it's already built up. So we could make another living area here, or just another type of building. We also have space for one more smaller building, and I'm not 100% sure what that should be quite yet. But if we need to, we can make different types of shops. That's definitely on the table. What else do we have? This is not going to be a children dome, so there are a few things we just don't need. Research lab would fit, but we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. We're already kind of getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, having all these buildings. And currently what we're waiting on, we have a rocket that's trying to reach Earth. 62%. And we have another rocket here that is 8 out of 50 in refueling. So that's going to be a little while. The biggest holdup for us right now is definitely our research. So it's going, but it's just taking a second. We're currently trying to get that extra $1 billion in crowdfunding. That way when our rocket gets to Earth, we can buy, everything we want, everything we need. And then eventually the drones upgrade is nice, but it's the unlocking of the polymer factories and the fuel refineries that'll be great. We could really use a second fuel refinery, and I feel like for a while we're going to be relying on our money to get us the buildings that we need in prefab form. So also building a farm, that's cool and everything, but we have currently unlocked already these. We can go ahead and take a look at it because they're pretty cool buildings. And let's go into slightly fast forward so as to not waste time. And you know what, we should also bring our drone commander here. And he's going to pack them all up and bring them over to this area. And we may want to consider starting to get our concrete production going a bit more, because a lot of these buildings are going to need concrete. Oh yeah, and also before I go off on like a million different tangents, I realized that I had brought this prefab here, the moisture evaporator. So produces water from the atmosphere, production lowered when placed near other evaporators, no production during dust storms. So basically you just want to keep it away from other evaporators. Having one near your dome is great, making sure that if they ever get cut off from your water supply or your water tanks, that they're still fine. Could consider even putting a water tank right next to the evaporator, and I may end up doing that. Unfortunately, I built quite the little mess here of things, but as long as we leave some space in between, we should be fine. So this is just our first dome. We're going to get that operational. And our transport is currently not doing anything. Let's fix that. Trying to get both of those bits of metal. A lot of these... Oh, that's polymer up here. And we can get up here. That's awesome. I can pretty much guarantee that's polymer. Let's take all of that and bring that back over here. Check this out. How much polymer is this? That's 8 out of 8. 3 out of 3. Okay, it's not a ton, but it's better than nothing. There's also metal. We'll take it. He's just going to have to go around to the ramp. Alright, while we're in fast forward, what is happening? We have a rocket that's available, but do we want to wait? Because we have very little funding right now, and this is supposed to be the rocket that brings us passengers. I feel like we're going to have to wait until we get that big funding. And let's see where we are now in research. 32. Ooh, that's going super slow. Super slow. So let's fast forward it and take a look at our hydroponic farm. So what's going to happen is it's going to turn green. It's going to be a beautiful building. There's going to be like algae and lichen and all this different stuff that's going to be wrapped around it and draped around it, and people will be working there. It's going to be pretty beautiful, and I can't wait. So I don't remember exactly how many people come with you on your first rocket. I think you have to take a small group first just to make sure you can keep them alive. And once you're able to prove that you can do that, you'll be able to take really as many people as you want. And at that point, I'll make sure to build more living quarters if we need it. Other rockets still loading. We could call in a supply drop, but it looks like we're doing fine on just about everything. Really, if I could produce more of one thing, it would be fuel, because I just don't like the speed at which we're loading fuel and producing it. What else do we have to do right now? I mean, our energy is good. Production of everything is about where it needs to be, considering that we really don't have much to do. Let's scoot this over a little bit. What's our range looking like? Just want a little bit of overlap, because I think what we're going to do here is operate another concrete producer. We also have an electronics factory in here. How big is that? Okay, that's pretty big, but we do have a prefab for it whenever we want that to be a thing. And has none of this been built yet? When all necessary resources have been brought. I think, yeah, they're just outside of the zone of control for those. They don't overlap. Do I need to move those resources? I feel like the resources need to be placed here so that they overlap. Interesting. Let's get our transport doing more stuff while I'm thinking about it before I forget him. Looks like a little bit of polymer there. We discovered all these places that just don't have any resources. It's really unfortunate. Just do that, and then...
Sector scanned. Anomaly.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Go over here. All, and then unload here. Okay. So we can make another drone hub active, but the problem is I feel like our storage is in the wrong spot, and if that's the case, then we need to move them, which is going to take quite a bit of effort. Is that the right thing? Is it just because the let's see. If we move this guy just a bit closer here, will we start making them? I thought for sure that the game was smart enough that as long as your drone hubs can cross over, because they'll start doing it now, but they'll only do it up to here, I believe. And we need this to have power in order for it to operate, in order for the drones to do things back and forth. And the range on this, yeah, it just doesn't reach. So we supposedly discovered another anomaly. I didn't see where it was. You can zoom out. Oh, wow, there's a ton of resources up here. That is great for us. And we need to take our Explorer. And they have some high-end ones as well. We're going to need to build here for sure. I see there's metal all over the place. Yeah, lots of metal. We can come here and collect that. But there are rare metals beneath the surface. Underground metals. Okay, not rare metals per se, but underground metals. We also have water. A research site. And a vista. Okay. That could be a good place to set up a secondary base of operations. Let's go ahead and go into our map overview. And yeah, we're currently exploring a lot of places. Let's go ahead and reveal that one as well. We can check in on our research 51%. Boy, that's taking a minute. But our supplies are holding pretty firm. But yeah, we haven't found rare minerals yet. Let's move up just a little bit. Are we still... Yeah, that should be able to finish, right? These little guys are going to collect stuff. Let's see what Opportunity's doing, and he's doing nothing. He's bored as heck. So what we can do is take a couple of these and put them over into that drone, or that drone hub. Just grab a couple of them that aren't really doing anything. We don't need many. Let's get 3. Come over here and build up. Is it here? Concrete extractor.
Manipulators held the
Oh,
silver
wow.
white mineral up to the camera, just as the chemical analysis came through. We found tellurium.
Alright, in a moment the chief engineer at Mission Control was at the communications station, urging instructions to the RC Explorer on how to handle and analyze the discovery. It was amusing to watch the almost childlike excitement in the eyes of the expert. This is a significant discovery because it allows us to overcome an old problem in metallurgy. Easily machinable metals allow for economical manufacturing of components, but the factors that allow it usually lower their performance, and vice versa. Thus, engineers have always been challenged to find ways to balance the two factors. The addition of tellurium to iron alloys allows them to perform better in both areas, so reduce the cost of robotics tech by 10%. I mean, that's a small buff, but it's not nothing. So I'll take it. Who's doing nothing right now? You. Okay. Well, we found a great place for you to come and dig us up stuff. And then to come back and dump here, because by then we may have moved some of this. He's managed to unload, correct? Yes, he has. So this now has a place, but it has no materials. Alright, where's our overlap point? We'll pause it, because this is important. This is one of those problems, you gotta fix it before it becomes a serious issue. This is our overlap. So we're gonna want to place storage, and we can do something like, we don't want to place it inside of the actual concrete area because we don't want to ruin our harvesting ability. Let's do 6 universals for now, and we can always go more than that if we need to. And then what we do is we come over here and we salvage this. Storages with forbidden shuttle access are never serviced by shuttles. Yeah, let's destroy this, and this is going to give our little guys a lot to do. And because we have so much metal as well, we should definitely come over here and make some metal areas as well. Yeah, and this is going to freak these dudes out. But they've got the space to store it now.
Sector scanned.
Let's salvage this one too and make a couple concrete spots. We may not need that. It's kind of nice to leave that there. Another spot with no resources, but there is an anomaly that we can scan, and that's great. So what's he picking up? What does he have on him? Just a ton of metal. Very good. I'm so happy that we were able to get all of these early Stirling generators. Let's, so this is reloaded. Let's go ahead and launch. No reason to keep rockets with us if we don't have anything to export back. The sooner that gets to Earth, the sooner we can use it to bring back more supplies for us. And I didn't realize we were making so much waste rock out here. Let's make a dumping site. These aren't materials, are there? I don't think they are.
Research complete. Anomaly analyzed.
Dumping site right there. And anomaly analyzed, that only gave us, well, I mean, it gave us 1,500 research. That's great. But it did not, ooh, Mars crowdfunding is done. Okay. So, that means we can finally start moving forward with our passengers. Is there anything else that I need to be aware of right now? I don't think so. So let's bring him back in case he needs to get charged. And check it out. These dudes are doing their jobs quickly. And now that this is done, let's turn it back on. And we can make this a priority. Let's get this set up before we miss with anything else, because otherwise we may forget. And we can give this area its own concrete depots. And we also, of course, need to give it power. Something like that looks fine. Building's not working. Soon it will be. And our little drones are going to do their job. And let's pack this up and bring this back over here. Because when we bring stuff in, we're going to have a lot to unpack. So we're thankfully kind of rich now. Let's go into our research here. How much do we currently have? I don't see that like listed anywhere. Because we're about to get low G drive, which makes our rovers and drones move faster, which is just straight up an improvement. Oxygen production increased by 50%. That's pretty huge. I would also like to get the high rises. Cargo space increases, good. It's a bit late for that. Surface heater, not really necessary. Get more research. This is something to get really early on, which is really nice. You're basically doubling your research rate. Or we could just go for more money, which I don't hate. Discover 6 new planetary anomalies. That's cool, because that just leads to straight up research. And we don't quite need the fungal farms at the moment. Let's go for Earth-Mars initiative. They're all very expensive. And now we can go to resupply. Alright, so passenger rocket. This will be the first time we've ever bring anyone down with us. The passenger rocket will deliver colonists and a minimal food supply to Mars. Highlight an applicant to inspect their traits. Alright, so you can go with the pre-selected people, or you can mess around a lot, and they have different backgrounds, different ages, sexes, specializations, and traits. So this person is a young male scientist, and he's sexy. That's great if you're trying to make children. This person is a composed, sexy gambler, but fortunately we don't have a casino. Yeah, so this is actually a pretty good person as long as you don't have a casino. But I think what we need to do is just check out who they have selected and make sure if we need to take them off. A genius, a hippie, that's pretty cool. Tanya Adriva, Chloe Lee, forgive me if I pronounce any names incorrectly, Boyadar Krimenliev. It's a hypochondriac, ooh, but he's a survivor, and a vegan. Don't worry, they'll tell you, that's hilarious. Good thing to be a vegan on Mars because all we have to eat is vegetables. A workaholic, that's a great trait. Fit and vegan and a gamer, that's all good. Loner. That's also fine because he'll be in a small dome. All I'm seeing is some pretty good traits. No one really stands out to me yet as being terrible. And a lot of them have needs that are just really easy to fill. So if you want, guys, we can rename some of these people if you let me know in the comments section. People do grow old and they do die, but we're going to be making babies at some point. But let's go ahead and launch. No specialization. It would be nice to get a medic, because we do already have an infirmary. Do we even have a medic available? Yes, we do. Let's see what kind of... Yeah, we have one selected. We just accidentally, like, clicked on her. Composed and a hippie. Yeah, that's fine. Let's get rid of one of these no specialization people. Let's get rid of this guy. Now we have one of everything. We should have a botanist as well. An alcoholic religious botanist. I had an alcoholic religious priest growing up. That was something. Let's try and get a different person. A glutton? No. It's like you're a botanist. You should understand the importance of balancing your food's ecosystem. A party animal. Gambler. I mean, I don't hate that. We could get rid of... I don't want to get rid of any workaholics. Yeah, let's just get rid of Armana Lee and get this botanist. So their specializations are going to be important when they're assigned to certain jobs. Available residences. Oh, it's showing 0, I think, because we have our living quarters turned off. So let's go ahead and launch. Launch anyway. So, yeah, it's telling us there's nowhere to live, but I think if we just turn this on, now we're fine. And I think the dome itself needs to be turned on. And as soon as the rocket arrives, we'll go ahead and turn everything on. No new resources. Right, and we also need to turn on our oxygen producer. And our storage tanks, for just in case something ever happens to this Moxie building. We'll have some oxygen stored that the people can make use of. But it'll be a minute before they get here. And we have another rocket in space that we can use. So let's go ahead and once again go back into this screen and have ourselves sent a cargo rocket. So it's not 100% sure exactly what we need just yet. But with people coming, let's make sure we have enough food. I don't know if we need seeds yet. Not yet. Do we need a dozer? Those things are expensive. Let's go into the prefab buildings. Let's get ourselves a few more. Ooh, those are expensive. Maybe one more Stirling generator. And what don't we have? We have one of each of these. And soon we'll be able to build our own. We want another fuel refinery. But I don't know if we actually need anything quite yet. So I think I will just grab a second Stirling generator and just completely cover our power. If we cover our power in that way, we're just taking that whole part of the game away. It's something that shouldn't even be challenging for us anymore. And it makes the whole game easier when you don't have to worry about, a particular resource. We could take one more drone or 5 more food or 10 more food, and I think that's an easy choice. And let's launch. Making sure that when they get here, if our hydroponic farm isn't working as well as it should, or whatever the case may be, we will have some extra backup food. I already brought some beforehand as well. Just a couple. And when they arrive, they're going to split themselves up in groups to, man all of these different buildings that need workers. And if I want, I can go ahead and try and optimize it and make it better. But it's kind of difficult to do. What is our transporter doing? Currently not doing anything. We're looking for polymers because that's the big deal. So can't find them. I see some metal over here. We'll just come and get it. Got to keep him working. The explorer is bored out of his mind. Let's go ahead and look up. Can scan a few more here.
Sector scanned.
No resources. Man, that's bumming me out. Bumming me out. But since we're in fast forward, it shouldn't be too much longer until the rocket lands. 82%. This is almost done as well, so soon we'll have much more effective drones. 20% is a big number. And just look at all the activity. Things are happening. What's the area of coverage for our sensor dome? Does it show that? We can boost its power, and I think that increases... I think there's a way to increase its range. Oh yeah, here we go. It's weird that it's giving me like a little area of effect. Let's go ahead and land. And followed shortly thereafter is going to be our cargo rocket. Oh, touchdown. And we can watch all the happy people get off the ship, and then we'll go ahead and turn everything on for them to start getting right to work.
Research complete.
A new beginning. Let's view the message.
Hope and determination. The first founders have set foot on the Red Planet.
The next 10 souls will be full of difficulties and dangers, but also with great promises and opportunities. It is now to us to prove that Mars can be a doorway to greater riches and the future of the human civilization. Even the most epic adventures begin with a single step. Effect: the arrival of additional colonists temporarily suspended until the colony proves able to sustain human life. Your founder colonists must survive for 10 souls before additional people can arrive. Hint: the colony will be evaluated positively before the period ends in the event the first human is born on Mars. If you feel you're up to the challenge, try constructing a medical building and raising the comfort of the founders as much as possible with service buildings. So yeah, I mean, we do have an infirmary, which is something that you need. Whoa, spin us around. Something that you need in order to make babies, and that's this building here. Suggested that we have a research lab, and here they come. So let's pause it real quick. I'm going to take a second to turn everything back on. We don't want them to have negative feelings. I don't know exactly when the negative feelings start, if they arrive and there aren't things for them to do and have. We need concrete for that. That should be easily taken care of. The infirmary turns on. Let's get the polymer factory turned on. One of your buildings has malfunctioned, and that's because it was turned off. It wasn't a priority for maintenance. But now that it's turned back on, our drone should be moving about and getting it fixed. So check out our little colonists as they skip their way to their dome. And they'll come in through these kind of like double doors, vacuum sealed doors, and they'll get right to work. We could make a research lab, that's true. I think it's a pretty big building though. A composer, founder, genius.
Crop failure reported.
It's telling us about their stats. Crop failure makes sense. We didn't have anyone there technically working there yet. So I think births are allowed, use passengers for work. Yes, okay. So there's a lot of things we can do to tweak this. Is there different skins? Oh, am I still clicked on the dome? I am. Okay. What I was trying to do is click on the hydroponics and see who was working here. Yeah, so that's a botanist. We need to raise the priority on certain buildings over others. Like for instance, this is a pretty low priority building, whereas making sure that we can produce food is a pretty high priority. 2 people working in the diner, we have different shifts. 2 in the infirmary. No one is working in the machine parts factory. It does need people. I kind of want to make our different factories a higher priority. Polymer factories as well as machine part factories should be a higher priority for us. We also have... Did our other rocket just land? Or is it able to land? It is. 100%? And let's bring it in because it's going to have a lot of goods for us. First human on Mars, milestone achieved. Nice, a little bit of research for us. And I think we're just good. Drone have a heavy load right now. That's not surprising. And what we can also do if we're worried about any type of polymer, machine parts, electronics, if we're still worried about that, we can always do a supply drop, which is pretty cheap. And we have quite a bit of money left, I do believe. Let's actually go ahead and check on that. No, we have nothing left. So, ugh. I think kind of what you see is what you get. So we need to get self-sustaining pretty quickly. We can make machine parts, which we can't make right now as electronics, but with a little bit of foresight, we have, where is it? It's so easy for me to miss those things. It is the, not the electronics store. It's gotta be, oh my god, I'm gonna keep missing it. There it is. I don't expect them to be in all these other tabs, but they are. The electronics factory, and we need to place that down and get that going. Those are the three kind of building blocks for all of the different things that we have. They are currently unloading, so great for us. More supplies coming in, and that's also going to mean 2 more Stirling generators that we can pop down. Lord, one day I'll get used to using shift, guys. And there we go. So even more power, and we're going to need that because we are also going to be introducing even more buildings. So our biggest problem right now is honestly that we just don't have enough people to work in all the buildings that we're currently working in.
Sector scanned.
But we should be producing stuff. So production per soul, 2 polymers, not terrible. 2 as well on the machine parts, and then we'll put people in here as well, and then we should be able to get up to 2. Let's take a look at our hydroponic farm, and we're producing food. So I think we're at a net positive. We're also at a net positive for oxygen. Our water production should be good. Maybe we just need a few more drones. It's hard to say. Some metals. I guess we can use our guy to come get this. Collect all, bring back. Don't want anyone not doing anything. Have we discovered anything out here? Zoom out a bit. We need as much research as we can get going right now. We're getting to the part where we can start actually messing around with some of the new DLC stuff. Actually start turning Mars green. Because we have the buildings, I think, already in like our prefab. Yes, we have. This takes maintenance though, and it takes maintenance of electronics and polymers, which is kind of rough on us. Anything else that we may need? We can mess with the terrain. I don't think that's quite necessary. Cloning vats. Yeah, we shouldn't build those yet. But let's check this out. So consume seeds to plant wild vegetation, increasing local soil quality. Plants will wither or grow according to local soil quality and global temperature and water. Improves global vegetation? Okay. So we have 2 of these, but they consume seeds, which we don't even have yet. And then we also have the greenhouse gas. Burns a mixture of fuel and locally extracted carbon to release greenhouse gases. Effectively improving the global temperature, has significantly boosted terraforming effect at low temperature. So I could see how if we were playing on a really cold part of the map, we would want to be prioritizing getting that built because it could help us to get to a warmer climate. So we need polymers here. Everyone seems to be working and everything seems to be going pretty okay. Is no one working here? Yeah. What we might have to do, no one's working there, is slightly adjust the priority on these 2 to allow for people to work in these other buildings. We don't absolutely need it yet, but the next thing that we do need is to bring in more people, which honestly means we need another dome. I thought I remembered there were buildings that we could make that were just single versions of this, and I wanted to place one more like right here. Like we could just build one house, but I don't see that in the options. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Who did I just click? No, buddy. Go do what you were doing. What I want to do... And I feel like it would just be right next to the other living quarters, but I don't see it. Unless there's a way to... I don't see an option to just place one little one. I could have sworn there was, though. Let me know in the comment section if you know how to do that. I don't see it over here. And I mentioned in the comments before, I have a bit of like recording stuff going on in the corner, so sometimes it's difficult for me to read in this area. And it's kind of annoying. My OBS stopped working, so I had to fall back to like a backup recording software. And it's just been a little bit of a struggle sometimes. But I don't understand why they're not fixing this. Any reason. That's fine. Those drones are covered. I guess these aren't doing anything because they're kind of far away from the storage. Let's get them right in the middle. They'll have access to all of this material. They'll be able to service the dome if we need them to. And then if there comes a point where we need to move further out, we can definitely do that. But we kind of accomplished what we set out to do today. I was hoping to get some more research and things like that done. You can fast forward a little bit. Let's see where we are with our research. So we definitely have the faster robots and drones. That's cool. And next we'll be able to build our own fuel refineries and polymer factories. Our biggest choke point on resources right now is honestly people and money. And that's kind of making me want to scrap this, scrap this, scrap this. Go for the more money right now, then the more research. What's this? Rockets and shuttles require less fuel. That would actually be great for us right now. But I also want these techs. Okay. That should be fine for right now. And I think we're going to leave ourselves in a good place to begin tomorrow's episode. These dudes have nothing to do. Explorer has nothing to do. Man, I hate that. Even our collector doesn't have anything to do. Our transport. Are there no materials? I see some. Boy, that's not a lot of stuff. Let's get that back. But things are happening. It's just we're at that point in the game where fast forwarding is just kind of like everything you have to do. And we're barely producing anything just because we don't have enough people. So I think the next task will be to build another dome. Perhaps one of these smaller, more triangular ones. Where is that at? We can't build a self-sufficient dome because we don't have
Milestone
the
achieved.
moisture farmers. But we can build like a micro dome somewhere around here and connect it. Or maybe just another basic dome. Yeah, something like that. And get it connected to this one. We may need a bit more oxygen production, I'm not sure. But make that one primarily just for living quarters. And have it so that we can fill up all of these buildings, bring up another rocket back. And we should definitely go ahead. Oh, this one's not fueled up? I thought it was. 40 out of 50. But anyway, guys, I will end today's episode right here. I think this is a pretty good place. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed seeing the little colonists go about their day, get things done. We can check them out in their little buildings as they work. I always thought that was a nice touch that you can actually see them physically working in certain buildings. You can actually see them in their houses too, if you catch them at the right times when they're off shift. But alright guys, let me know if there's anything I can improve about this series. If there's anything I'm doing wrong, I would love to know. I'm not an expert on this game. I'm just trying to have fun doing it and show you guys the little bit that I know. But alright, take care. Once again, my name is Brett, and I will see you in the next one. Later, y'all.